to VHS Voyage, where we are on a journey to find, watch, and discuss movies on VHS that we've never seen or never knew existed. I'm Matt.
I'm Devin.
And in today's episode, we are going to watch
Whispers.
Welcome to today's episode of VHS Voyage, where we're going to talk about the movie Whispers, which is an adaptation of a Dean Koontz book, which I'm sure Devin's going to talk about here in just a second. So Devin, before we get into discussing the movie, hit us with some information about this one.
Yep, so I was not expecting to get a lot of information from this movie, actually, because it barely had any reviews across all the services, but it's directed by Douglas Jackson. He's just a TV director. That's all he is. So it's written by Anita Doohan. Again, nothing noteworthy, just wrote like one more thing after this. Dean Koontz has a writing credit, but that's just because he wrote the book.
Right.
So he definitely didn't have anything to do with this. And I'll actually talk about that here in a little bit, a little fact I found about the movie. Had a $3.5 million budget. I could not find out how much it made, but I'm going to guess it did not
Probably not
make that back. I'm going to guess. You want to try to guess IMDb?
Okay, this one I have a feeling is low. I'm going to say 3 out of 10.
It's higher than that.
4.5.
4.4. You're always one off every single time. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no critic score, but there is an audience score.
30.
Lower.
25.
Lower.
15.
Lower.
Ho-ho! 10.
13. Here's the thing, though. This is not the lowest movie we've had. We've had 2 movies lower than this.
Have we really?
We had Musketeer and Dragonfly were both lower than this.
Whoa. Musketeer and Dragonfly were lower than this.
Oh, wait, that was
movie?
the critic score, though. That was lower.
Okay.
This movie did not, but still, audience 13. This is the lowest audience score we've had so far. Critic score, I would have said, is probably right around that too if it would have had a critic score.
I'd say so.
So yeah, this is definitely low. This stars Victoria Tennant as the main girl. She's from LA Story, Flowers in the Attic, and All of Me. I don't know what any of those movies are. Jean Leclerc is the bad guy of the movie, the killer. He is a Canadian French actor. He is in nothing notable. He took 17 years off from acting, but he was known in the 80s as a soap opera actor. It felt like soap opera acting too.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
The actor that played the cop is Chris Sarandon, who's in a shit ton of stuff.
Really?
Princess Bride, The Nightmare Before Christmas. He played Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That dude did?
Yeah. Danny Elfman, who does the music for the Tim Burton movies, does do the singing voice in Nightmare Before Christmas, but the actual actor voice is Chris Sarandon, not the singing voice.
Gotcha.
He's in Dog Day Afternoon, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, which is a Studio Ghibli movie. So he's also in Fright Night and Child's Play.
Really?
He's just in like all kinds of stuff. So
and just randomly in this movie.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense at all. And I was like, that last name is Sarandon. I wonder if he's related to Susan Sarandon.
That's a good point.
They were married for 12 years.
Wow.
On IMDb, this is the lowest rated Dean Koontz adaptation on IMDb. This one has the lowest rating of any of his stuff.
I can see that.
Now, he does have this one series that has like 4 movies.
Really?
I forget what it's called, but only the first movie is based off the book. They just made like a bunch of sequels.
Is it Watchers?
Watchers, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And like Watchers 3 had like a 1.5, but there is no sequels to the book. They just made sequels. So those did not count.
Yeah, Watchers is one of his best books too.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
I was curious what his highest was. He does have a highly rated one, which is Intensity from 1997, has a 7.1.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because I remember, I haven't seen the movie, but I remember seeing that one had a decent rating.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one way
This was a TV movie, but it had a really high rating. Before Dean Koontz was like really rich, a producer bought the rights to this movie in like the mid 80s for $35,000. A couple years after that, Dean Koontz got really rich and was like, I will give you $100,000 to have my rights to this book back. And the producer turned him down. And then they made this movie.
Oh,
so
man.
Dean Koontz tried to get this this book back, his
Yeah.
rights to it, but he was not able to, even with a $100,000 check.
Dang. So for those of you who don't know, Dean Koontz is a mega author. Not quite on the level of Stephen King, but he's definitely close. He's close to the level of Stephen King. He has wrote just an insane number of books, and not just horror. A lot of people like to lump Dean Koontz in the horror genre, but he's wrote sci-fi, suspense, crime books, just about anything that you can think of. But a lot of his books do tend to lean more into the horror side. And one thing Dean Koontz does very well is he crafts very psychotic villains with deep backstories, and they tried to translate that into this movie, and they did it very poorly, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
So what is Whispers about? Well, essentially it is about a man named Bruno. He's our antagonist, our villain of the movie, absolute psychopath. He thinks that this filmmaker lady, Hillary, is possessed by his dead mother. And so this guy, he's actually a serial killer. He goes around killing women that look like his mother because he thinks that they're possessed by his dead mother. So Hillary is his next victim, and they have a couple of run-ins, ultimately leading to our villain dying, surprisingly enough. Or does he? Dun dun dun. Okay. So that was dumb. She kills our villain, right? She gets in a relationship with the detective that's on the case, because these detectives come to her apartment the first time. She gets attacked, second time after she murders him. And the movie goes on from there because inexplicably Bruno, our killer, seems to come back to life, and he's still going after her, trying to kill her. So that's essentially the story of the movie. Now, let me start by saying this before we go any further. The book Whispers is fantastic. It's actually the book that ended up propelling Dean Koontz's career. It's the book that really kind of put him on the map. This movie certainly did not do the book justice in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I guess we can go ahead and jump into one of those things, which is the very opening of the movie.
Talk about that.
That makes really no sense. Like, the movie literally just opens with this woman in her, is she an apartment? Is that what
It looks like it's an apartment. I think in the book it was a house.
Yeah. So I think it's an apartment in this one. It just opens up with this dude busting in the apartment. He tries to kill her.
Very poorly.
I can't even remember really what happened. Somehow he winds up on the ground.
He was in her closet to begin with. She opens her closet and boom, there he is.
Yeah, it never explains why.
Yeah.
How did he get to the ground?
I don't know.
Okay, she shot him.
Yeah, she shot him.
She shot him. He falls to the ground, and then she goes, "I'm gonna shoot you in the head now and kill you."
Just to be sure.
Just to be sure. And then she points the gun at his head, and then for no reason, she moves the gun to the left and shoots a hole in the ground. I told you, some poor old lady at the floor under her was just like sleeping and got shot.
Yeah.
Just to be sure, I'm gonna shoot you in the back of your head.
It makes no. I was so confused, and me and you started laughing our asses off.
So it was so funny.
Because it was so funny, the line delivery. And then there's another part where he's like, "I'm leaving now."
Yeah.
And then he steps out of the room.
He steps back in.
And then 2 seconds later, he steps back in and goes, "I'm back."
I'll be back.
This movie is awful.
And one thing we need to mention, our villain throughout the entire movie whispers, which makes it really hard to understand.
Oh,
what
I didn't
he's
even
saying.
catch on to that.
Yeah, he whispers the entire time throughout the entire
that never
movie.
processed on my brain, because the
Yeah.
entire time I'm thinking, this guy's an idiot. He lives in an elevator shaft at one point. Did you miss that? Did you see that part? He's like sleeping in the top of an elevator to try to get back into her apartment.
Yeah. And then he climbed.
I hate this movie so much.
The opening scene was absolutely ridiculous, and it was hilarious. Now here's the thing, Devin. That scene in the book was so intense, because I'm pretty sure it takes place in a house in the book.
Also, I'm sure it got explained better in the book too.
Yeah, and in the book, that whole scene was like 50 pages, because it's like this whole intense scene of her being chased through this house and fighting with him at various points and trying to hide and trying to get away from him. And so it's just like really drawn out, intense scene. And then even the second time when he comes back in the book and she kills him, it's intense as well. And in the movie, it was just absolutely ridiculous. The acting, terrible.
Oh, the acting in this movie is bad. So bad.
After this opening sequence, these detectives come to investigate because she calls it in. And by the way, after this, she acts like nothing even happened.
She doesn't even
Like,
care, really.
She's not fazed by it at all, which, you know, I could get that in some ways if you're dealing with like a really strong, mentally strong protagonist that's maybe had a tough life and has experienced stuff like this before. But she's just like, she doesn't react to it like a normal human
killed a
does.
human being, was attacked, almost got murdered,
Yeah.
and she does not care at all.
Yeah.
She's like, whatever.
Yeah. It just doesn't even phase her. The detectives are basically idiots. I mean, they're basically idiots. They don't follow any kind of police procedure that is realistic. Do you want to talk about the weird scene with the detectives where they investigate or they find this vehicle of this criminal that they were looking for?
I don't know what the subplot was, but these two detectives are like looking for this dude. One of them goes to a car, opens the door, searching the car. The dude pops out of a trunk with an Uzi and kills him.
Blows him away.
With an Uzi, it shoots him like 30 times. I don't even know what this subplot
Why was he in the trunk?
I don't know. He popped out of the trunk like it was a Jack in the Box and loaded a fat police officer with an Uzi.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
And it doesn't even connect at all to what's going on
None.
with the woman.
Yep.
It's
none.
just like this subplot that lasts one scene.
But it leads to the funniest scene in the movie. Clemenza, the cop, it was his partner that was killed in this scene we're talking about. He is at a bar. She finds him at a bar, Hillary, our protagonist, and he's getting drunk and because, you know, his partner died and everything, and he's upset even though the acting was awful.
And he said he hated him.
Yeah, he said he hated him basically. So she takes him back to her apartment, and what proceeds... I wish.
Oh, no. I'm going to put this scene. I'm going to put this scene in the edit, but let's just say it's going to be blurred.
Yeah.
But you're about to hear some sounds right now.
Yeah. So what proceeds is the funniest sex scene I've ever seen in a movie in my life. And it's not supposed to be funny. The sounds that he makes and she makes and the way that they move during the sex scene, it was hilarious.
Yeah, I see why Susan divorced him. Honestly, I see why Susan left him.
Yeah,
it makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. If that's how he really does it, my God. You need to watch the movie just to watch that scene.
Also, this scene is long. It's
long.
like a minute long, and it just doesn't stop, and we could not stop laughing.
It was. I was literally stomping my foot. I was getting lightheaded. I was laughing so hard. And then there's a scene with a mortician. I'm not even gonna.
The mortician, that was so gross. I'm sure y'all can picture what we're saying. He's like the embalmer guy.
Yeah,
and
let's just say he's engaged in sexual relations with.
Well, it's not even what we thought though.
Yeah, it makes you think it's a dead body, but it turns out it's not a dead body.
It's just a woman he paints as a dead body. This movie sucks. I fucking hate this movie.
So all right, I'm gonna spoil the movie, everybody, okay, and try to explain what's going on here. So here's what's going on in this movie. Our villain, Bruno, has a twin brother, okay?
He has a twin brother?
Yeah, that was the dead body in the bed that he was kissing, remember?
Okay, without context. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm so confused by this movie.
Okay, so
I thought he was a vampire. They said he was a fucking vampire, man.
No, dude. Okay, so when she killed Bruno the first time, it was one of the twins. Okay. That's how he supposedly came back to life. He didn't come back to life. It was his twin.
Yeah.
So Bruno has a twin brother. Okay. Bruno is extremely mentally disturbed, extremely psychotic because him and his twin brother, when they were kids, their mother was this horrible, evil woman that basically tortured them and put them through hell because she wanted these two twin brothers to become one person. Like she wanted them to become one single individual person. And so she put them through horrible psychological abuse and mental abuse And that's why when he was in the bed with his dead body, or with his twin brother's dead body, he kept saying, I want myself to see myself and all this other stuff, because mentally him and his twin brother thought they were the same person.
Okay, can I explain to the people so they don't think I'm stupid why I thought he was a vampire? Because they're gonna think I'm stupid.
Yeah.
They talk like 5 times that he's a vampire.
Yeah.
This guy's reading books about vampires. He's reading books about zombies.
Yep.
And they keep talking about like coming back to life.
Right.
So I literally thought he just got killed and came back to life, and I thought he was a vampire because they say it 20 times in the movie.
So in the book,
they should have explained it early in the movie.
Right. So in the book makes you think something supernatural is going on throughout most of the book. It sets it up to make you think this is something supernatural.
Okay.
And then you find out the twist at the end that it's not supernatural. It's just he has a twin brother, and those two twin brothers, they think they're the same person.
The twist was not explained good at all in this.
Not at all.
I thought he was making out with his own dead body. I thought he had got his dead body out of the grave, put it on the bed, and I thought he was like came back to life as just a new entity. He was making out with his twin brother's dead body.
Yes. Yes.
Our YouTube channel is going to get taken down just for me saying that.
This is the reason why he became a serial killer. He kills women that look like his mother because he, in his crazy psychotic brain, he thinks that his mother is coming back to life and possessing the bodies of these women. And he thinks the only way that he can stop his mother's spirit is by killing these women. But you know what, Devin? At the end of the day, at least we laughed our asses off a couple of times.
Yeah, but it wasn't even intentional.
I know. That's Whispers, everybody. Anything else you want to say about it?
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. This is the worst movie we've watched so far as VHS Voyage.
I think so too. Yeah.
I'm talking about movie making wise. Like Power Play I just wasn't interested in it. Right. But it was better than this. Yeah. Just movie cinema.
Power Play at least made sense. The plot made sense.
I don't know if I've ever been more uncomfortable watching a movie. I was uncomfortable.
And confused.
And so confused. I thought the man was a vampire, and then you explained to me that he's a twin brother, and I'm done talking about it. I don't want to talk about the twin thing anymore.
I think it's pretty safe to say that this is not a keep it.
No, at all.
Whispers is not a keep it. So, what that means is we will be giving away this copy to one of you. And if you want to enter that giveaway, check out the Instagram page, vhs.voyage, link in the description down below, and find the post on this movie to learn how to enter the giveaway for Whispers so that you can laugh your ass off at the same scenes that we laughed at. If people want to watch this, is there anywhere they can find this movie?
Yeah, it's on like Freevee and like a lot of the free services if you want to watch it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That is it for today's episode of VHS Voyage on Whispers. I'm Matt.
I'm Devin.
And we will catch you all in the next episode.